Hey Queens, it's time for a heart check.
So I am Racine Neely, and I want to start out by saying I give God all the glory for us being here today and just having the conversation that we're having. And who I am first, and I had to learn this actually later on in life, is that I am a daughter of God first. Oof. Yes, so Racine Neely, daughter of God. And from that, I am a wife of 17 years. I actually married my middle school sweetheart. So we've been in this relationship for over 30 years now. Wow. I am a daughter of my mother, Francine, my father, Albert. So it's four. So I'm the youngest of four. I am a mother of two beautiful children, one young man who's 19 years old, and my daughter with an amazing soul. Glad to have her a part of this family. I thank God for her every day. Taylor, she's 13 years old.
Wow. So those are quite the credentials there. What would you say was the moment that made you say, you know what, I want to go into relationship life coaching?
Absolutely. So I didn't choose to be in this space. This was not a choice. And if you had asked me this 10 years ago, never in a million years would I have said I'm going to be this life coach, this relationship coach, because my background, actually, I have several degrees. And my past life, I was an HR consultant for over a decade. So that's where I thought I was going to be. That's where I thought I was going to go up the ladder. However, I was called into this space back in 2023, early 2023.
Okay.
And when you're called into this space, I was called into my purpose. So here I am now, and I am just living the vision that God gave me to live.
You got your degrees in HR. You went to school for that. It seems like something that you may have been passionate about in the past.
Absolutely.
Why the switch?
So for me, when I look back in hindsight, I didn't understand the switch. I didn't understand why I lost the passion. What I learned is that the skill sets and knowledge and the experience I gained in my HR role, it built me up to this point to be the life coach that I am today. So it was a stepping stone for me. And it was like when you are at a crossroad in anything in your life. And sometimes a new door may open. And in this case, the door of, okay, I need you to step out of what you're now comfortable with as an HR consultant to now go into the space of actually a life coach, a relationship coach, meeting people outside of the workforce where they are. I need you in this space now. So I said yes.
Okay. You are a relationship life coach.
Yes.
Maybe if you could start with breaking down the difference between a regular life coach and a relationship life coach.
Absolutely. So in general, anyone who becomes a certified life coach can then specialize, have a niche. So you can be a life coach, but you specialize, or your niche is a business coach or a fitness coach. Okay. So you have the different buckets within a life coach itself. For me, my niche was made plain and clear, because when the vision was given to me and when I was called into that space, my purpose, I always say your purpose is aligned where your pain is. So I was at a crossroad within my relationship. There was a pain point within our 10-year relationship. And I had to choose at that point to say yes, to say I need to share how I'm feeling in this space with the world, because it's part of your purpose now. Your pain is tied to your purpose. So to me, it was just very clear that relationships and meeting people where they are in their relationships, either engaged, married, or even divorced, is very important for me to just kind of enter into that space with them at this time.
Okay. What's the difference between a life coach or a therapist? Because I thought they were the same thing.
No. So a therapist is actually a licensed professional that typically have some type of licensure, took an examination to deal with mental health issues. These people are equipped to help with, for an example, if you have anxiety, if you have depression, if you have suicidal thoughts, if you, so just dealing with your mental, right?
Okay.
So I look at a therapist. A therapist is the one that's going to go back with you in the past to deal with some trauma that you may have experienced in the past, and then help you heal through that trauma to your present day.
Okay.
A life coach, myself at this time, will meet you right in the present to help you build for your future.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they do go hand in hand, and a lot of therapists are actually life coach. A lot of life coach are actually therapists.
Okay.
And if there's any time where a life coach isn't truly credentialed or have the licensure to practice in that space of past trauma, then they will partner with the therapist to do so, to make sure that client, that person, is getting a holistic approach to their overall healing.
Okay. So what I'm gathering is a life coach is going to kind of meet you where you are. And would it be safe to say that you lead your client to not solve their problem, but uncover their problem, and you help them through that? Would that be safe to?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So my role primarily is to be that listening ear.
Okay.
To prompt you to dig a little deeper when I feel like you are on the surface level, to provide you with resources, but also to hold you accountable.
Okay.
To reaching certain goals. And in most cases, the work I'm doing now is reaching relationship goals.
Okay.
So if you will show up and we have our first session, and I identify your relationship goal is I want to, for example, be able to better communicate with my partner. So I help you break down what that looks like. I give you knowledge behind what effective communication look like, but then I assess, okay, where you currently are and where you want to be, where you told me you needed to be. And then I help you bridge that gap.
Okay.
Yeah.
So with 17 years of marriage under your belt, first of all, congratulations. Because I'm about 2 years in, and I know that long-term marriage is something that I'm really looking forward to. So that is a huge achievement to not just me, but I'm sure a lot of people out there who are listening. What would you say would be like essential elements of someone who wants to grow not only personally, but in their relationship?
Absolutely. So thank you for asking that, because although you are only 2.5 years in, that still can sometimes feel like a lifetime. However, if the relationship is worth fighting for, I always encourage those to just keep pressing forward within that relationship, especially if they are leaning towards a healthy relationship versus not healthy. So one thing that I focus on within Dare to Dream is that I say, and I've created based on life experiences, based on knowledge and wisdom shared and gained along the way, is for me to help women love, trust, and heal within their romantic relationship.
Okay.
Yeah, so I want to speak more about the help, because again, in order to show up in the relationship at your most authentic state, you need to be able to not only show up, but also come into that relationship as a healed individual. So HELP as the acronym, we're going to start with the H, and I'll share a little bit more about that with you as well. The H stands for healing. And I like to mainly talk through healing through a heartbreak, because as a life coach, I'm not going to focus on any traumas or any mental health issues. I assess that early on and then make the recommendation and if you need to see a therapist. But as a life coach, I'm able to meet you where you are in the present state to help you heal through your heartbreak. Secondly, I think it's very important for anyone to show up in their relationship and be the best they can be, is to empower their inner self. So it starts with a lot of self-love. It starts with a lot of self-respect, and truly being able to identify who you are in that relationship and not who someone else wants you to be or who someone else told you needed to be within a relationship. And then going into L, in order for a relationship to be successful, you have to love like Jesus. And I say that from a standpoint is that you need to love that individual, your partner, through thick and thin. As you stated the vows, don't take it lightly, because love that person through their wrong, through their right, through their sins, through their mistakes, and with no judgment, with no criticism, with mainly support and a shoulder for them to lean on, to learn lessons from. So just loving with an open heart at all times. And then finally, going into the P, is the power of prayer, purpose, and peace. So starting out, any healthy, successful, sustainable relationship, you have to put God first in it. You have to lean on Him to get both of you through hard times. So the power of prayer, as well as the purpose of your relationship. Why are you in this relationship? What do you like about each other in the relationship? How have you all evolved or supported or affirmed each other within the relationship? And then being at peace of who you are in a relationship with. Because at the end of the day, going back to the E, if you are able to truly love yourself, all of yourself, then that partner is just there to compliment you. So just having the peace of being in a relationship with someone who compliments you, who is your friend and your partner.
I love how you broke that down into an acronym. So we have an acronym. You want to help women, and that acronym was healing, empowerment,
yes,
love like Jesus, and prayer and purpose.
Yes, the power of prayer, purpose, and peace is key. Love that.
So I want to talk about healing. How can a scorned woman heal and want to fight for her relationship?
Absolutely. So first you have to identify where the true heartbreak began.
Okay.
That carries on. So what is not transformed within the heart then transfers over to the next relationship.
Ooh.
So I always ask, is this the heartbreak that you need to actually heal from? Or do we need to just go back just a little bit to see, are you showing up in this new relationship with certain patterns of mistrust?
How does one feel empowered? Is that something that just happens after you heal?
Absolutely.
Or do you take steps every day to be empowered?
So once you truly heal within, and healing isn't ongoing, it's a destination, right? Actually, it's a journey. So with healing, you have to make that a conscious decision to say, I'm going to forgive someone today. Because people are people. People make mistakes, right? We are in this world of just a lot of people around us who make mistakes. So just having that ongoing spirit of forgiveness. Once you have that healing truly within, then you are able to empower your inner self. So I'm not talking about the empowerment, and of course, during life coaching, like if you want to work on certain goals, fitness goals or so forth, career goals, that's fine. I would empower you. But when I speak to empowerment, I'm speaking from a standpoint of empowering your inner self. So this takes for you to actually put the mirror in front of yourself. Look yourself in the mirror. If you have not done so, I recommend that you do it. Because once you look yourself in the mirror, then it will be identified to you, hopefully, everything that you need to work on. Because as people, and maybe how we've grown up, maybe from defense mechanism, we're so used to pointing out other flaws, pointing the finger at other people like it's their fault, or playing the victim all the time, right? But once you truly look yourself in the mirror, you can identify what your flaws are, and you can start working on those. You can establish and create healthy boundaries to set amongst others around you. You can really reflect on what gives you peace and who gives you peace. And at that point, anyone that does not, or anything that does not give you peace, deuces out the door. So it's really taking the time to sit with yourself, to look at who you are, whose you are, right? Whose you are. And then, looking around at everyone else that's in your circle, your inner circle.
You say, love like Jesus.
Absolutely.
That is a very strong, powerful statement.
Mm-hmm.
How does one love like Jesus in those tough times?
Oh, that's a great question. So, first, I want to start out Jesus is love. So, if you believe in him and if you follow him, his spirit dwells in you. So, you have that spirit of love and peace. So, first, I want to say that. But secondly, is being able to love someone unconditionally. And when I say unconditionally, it's loving them through their wrong, loving them through their flaws, loving them through their ups and downs. But a lot of us were not taught how to love or shown how to love. So it's not mainly of like loving like Jesus do. That's overall what you need to do. But sometimes you got to go back. You got to go back to your childhood. You got to go back to that inner child. You got to go back to your household back in the day of how your family showed love towards one another. Because a lot of us actually did not experience or was shown love, so never knew how to love. So we grow up, and as an adult, we're placed in this relationship, and we may be matched or attracted to someone who actually grew up knowing how to show love, receive love, communicate effectively. So they're imposing everything they've learned throughout their childhood on you, and you never were shown it. So it's being open to inner work within your heart, opening up your heart with no judgment, with no criticism, understanding that people are people and people are going to make mistakes. And if you can love someone through their mistakes, through their hardships, through their adversity, that is unconditional love. I also want to point out that in order for you to truly love someone like Jesus, you have to love yourself, but also appreciate and feel the love that Jesus give to you. Mm-hmm. So again, it's going back to that inner work. Mm-hmm. You can't love nobody if you don't love yourself. Yeah.
What does prayer purpose look like for you? Are you saying that we have to have a purpose when we pray? Is that about intentionality? What does that mean?
So it's the power of prayer, purpose, and peace. And those three align because your prayer life is actually going to possibly lead you to your purpose, most likely lead you to your purpose. Your prayer life will most likely lead you to the inner peace within. Because not only is God or Jesus is love, he is also peace. So it starts with prayer, and then that will help you get to your purpose through your purpose with his strength, as well as your inner peace while here in this world. And it's going to take a lot of work to go through your healing process, to empower yourself on a day-to-day basis. Again, it's a journey. To be able to consciously say, I'm going to love and I'm going to be happy today. And to also be intentional of your prayer life. So with that being said, I tell that person to be okay at where they are right now, because every storm is just a season. And with faith, that season will pass and you will get through it stronger, more resilient, and more aligned with what you were called to do than when you entered the storm. Mm-hmm. So just keep pressing forward.
Keep pressing forward.
Keep pressing forward.
I love that. Wow. So after talking about power of prayer and purpose, I want to dive deeper into the Dare to Dream brand and the Dare to Dream lifestyle. First, I want to ask you, what does that mean to you? I have some ideas on what it means to me, but I want to hear from you. What does Dare to Dream really mean?
Okay. So early childhood, I used to play the game Truth Dare, Double Dare. Okay. I'm not sure if you ever heard that.
I have, actually.
So I'll talk a little bit more about that. But let me tell you about ever since I was a little girl, from the beginning of time where I had to learn how to tie my shoes, I actually have powerful dreams. So I have the night visions where I am able to dream about anything, everything that's put within me, but also whatever's going on in my present day. I typically dream about it. So going back to my childhood, I actually learned how to tie my shoe from my dream. Wow. I practiced in my dream.
Okay.
I learned how to ride a bike by practicing in my dreams. So I always knew that my dreams were powerful and how things manifested from them. As I got older, of course, I started setting lifestyle goals and career goals, per se, my dreams and goals. And I manifested them through my dreams. So I dreamed of having the house, the husband, the 2 kids, the white picket fence. So I've always had the gift of manifesting my dreams, manifesting my goals, and everything came to life for me. So I'm daring others to have those same dreams. And if they don't have them as night visions during their sleep, to actually be awake and to dream big. So a part of Dare to Dream is to not only tell my truth and my life experiences, but to also dare and double dare people to live out theirs.
Wow. And that's really interesting too, because some people get motivated by challenges.
Absolutely.
I'm one of those people. You dare me to do
Absolutely.
anything
Right here.
I'm going to do it.
To me, it's like you will get ready when you're in it. A lot of people wait for the perfect time to have kids, the perfect time to get married, the perfect time to pursue a career goal. But in actuality, there's never going to be a perfect time. So I always recommend just jumping right into it with the faith that everything is going to work out. And if it was put on your heart as a dream, as an aspiration, and if you push yourself and keep pressing forward and keep God first and have the faith that it will come, it will, if it's meant to be and if it's His will.
Okay. You do speak about God a lot.
Absolutely.
And I can tell that that is the foundation of who you are and who Dare to Dream is. Now, how does that influence your coaching style? And
absolutely. So I'm very transparent of my work, the work that I do. I'm actually, it stems from, for me, it's a spiritual thing. So just meeting people where they are, though. So no judgment of where you may be in your spiritual journey or your spiritual process, but I make it clear on my beliefs and my process. And within my process, I love to pray with my clients with their permission. And I get that permission early on. And we can pray together because bringing God into everything that you do is important, right? So getting their permission to not only pray with them, but to also relate to them real time on what is happening within their life, or in this world or within their relationship to, biblical scripture, things that they can hold and press dear to their heart to actually learn and grow with the book.
As a society, like professional relationships, which you being a life coach, I would consider that a professional relationship with your clients.
Yes.
You want to leave God out of it. And I see that a lot. So I think that you stand out there by incorporating God and being very transparent. Like, hey, you're going to come to this life coach session. We're going to talk about God. So that's beautiful. And I also want to ask you, is it important, do you believe, to have God as a staple in your marriage? And has God always been a staple in your marriage?
So one, yes, it's very important to have God a part of every aspect of your marriage. However, He has not always been a priority in our marriage. So like I said before, we've been married for 17 years and we got married fairly young. I was 23. My husband was 24. And our 20s were fun. We were still in college. He actually graduated a year after we got married. However, it was fun. And during that time, we both were career driven. We both had the same goals of where we wanted our family direction to go. We both had the dream of owning a home and having the picket fence for our kids. However, we were moving so fast throughout life. And all that time, up until recent years, it's like we were blessed to have everything that we dreamed of, and we didn't give God the glory for it. We thought we were doing it with our own strength and with our own power and with our own knowledge. But that's never the case. That's never the case. And we had to learn the hard way later on down the line that we have to have Him a part of every aspect of our marriage. Our marriage will not survive without putting God first, without leaning on him for his direction, for his peace, for his love, unconditional love. So it's something we learned later on, and it's something that actually kept our marriage.
Amen. How old did you say your children were?
19 and 13.
19 and 13. That is a very sensitive time in life in general, in faith with God.
Yes.
In them forming new relationships outside of you, outside of your husband, outside of their family. They're being opened up to the world now.
Absolutely.
They're forming their own relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a couple questions here. How do you, as a mom, incorporate God into your family? And then I'll come back to my second question.
Okay. So within the family, it's being very transparent with your kids in every way possible. So it's teaching them that they are going to go through life with adversity. They're going to go through relationship and experience heartbreaks. But it's also introducing them to having that relationship with God as well. And it's nothing that you actually force on your children or anyone to have, because they have to want it, but you have to lead and you have to show. We are the influencers over our children. They see us day to day. They live in this household with us. So we just have to lead by example and plant seeds when necessary.
Okay. I like that you said that you don't force your children, because at the end of the day, we all know whenever you kind of force someone to do something, naturally, especially young people, they want to go against it.
Absolutely.
So are you all praying together?
Yes.
Okay. So you're praying together. So in their new relationships that they're forming outside of you, are you encouraging them to seek God in those relationships, or are you just kind of letting them do their own thing? And that was my second question.
Okay. So typically I just let them do their own thing. However, I pray for their relationships to be fruitful.
Okay.
And I pray that anyone that does not belong in their life to be removed. Okay. And typically it happens.
Okay.
So prayer life within, for me and my spouse, we pray together. But we also as a family pray together, and the kids know the importance of prayer and the power of prayer and the power of praying over every aspect of your life, including your health. So they do an anointing your home. So it's certain things that we practice and we preach around the house, but never force it, but they're seeing and learning from us on a day-by-day basis.
Okay. Yes, that's important, because, parents, especially in our community, it's always do as I say and not as I do.
Right.
Exactly. But I think it's important that you're talking the talk, but you're also walking the walk. Yes. Because at the end of the day, the kids do as you do. Mm-hmm. They don't always do as you say. So it's great that you're, being that example. Okay. And I have one more question on your family.
Okay.
So do you feel that your line of work as a life coach, I hear this with therapists and their kids, kind of like, what's the word? Coaching them, or trying to treat them as your client, basically. Do you find yourself doing that, or you stay away from it?
Yes. Actually, when I started out in this space, I did, even as an HR consultant, like with that background, my husband used to tell me, like, quit trying to HR me.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know I was doing it. It was just something that I was equipped to do. I became familiar with, and that's the way I, had conversations. But I had to step away. I had to take the HR hat off. Now I have to take the coaching hat off. But one best practice that I do share is, because not only am I their mother, I try to meet them take the titles away. So instead of me mother, instead of me, the title being their mother and the title of them being our kids, I say, take those titles away. And I want to speak to you person to person.
Ooh.
So
I love that.
When you are able to go into the conversation and speak to your children or anyone, if you remove the titles, it helps you have a better conversation, and it helps you meet that person and see that person for who they are, and not the expectations that the society have put on them in terms on how they're supposed to behave as a child how they're supposed to speak, and so forth. So that helps me a lot. And then another best practice I want to share is, you can go into the conversation to say, I'm not mommy right now. I'm going to be your coach. So open up to me. And these sessions are confidential. I got a question one time, like, can I cuss? Absolutely. So just allowing them to be all of them in that moment, especially during times when there is some frustration on what's going on at school or within their relationships outside of the house. Definitely giving them that safe space to open up and really get all of those emotions out with no judgment, no consequences, but allowing them to be free with their voice.
I love that. That just gave me chills. All right. Well, this has been an amazing time. I feel like I've really gotten to know you a little bit better, and I'm looking forward to having more of these conversations with Racine from Dare to Dream, Racine. I think there's a little jingle going on there.
Yes, that's me.
Yes. So going forward, as we close out, I want to know, what can we expect from Dare to Dream going forward? What type of content are you going to be putting out? What type of messages can we look forward to? And if you have any upcoming projects, maybe, I just want to know, like, what's next?
Absolutely. So I just want to encourage anyone that sees this video or hear it, just to continue to dream with me. So we are going to go along this journey together. And my goal and the content that I plan on producing in the near future is just to continue to help others. So I will be continuing this series of help and really diving a little deeper into each bucket in terms of healing, empowerment, loving, and purpose and prayer. So you can understand what that looked like on every level, on a deeper surface, and how to effectively do it. Because like I said earlier, we all were not given the tools and resources to even know where to start in this space. So my goal is to continually provide resources, tips, and also, anything that I can do to help meet people where they are. I would love to hear back from the audience with any questions. So shoot some in the comments or shoot me an email at racine@daretodream. Dream is spelled with a J.com. Just so I can just start sharing more of what I've learned throughout my journey and experience as this life coach and wife.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. It has been an absolute pleasure.
You're welcome.
I look forward to supporting everything you put out.
Thank you.
Let's just say this resonates with someone feels moved by this message. How can we find you? How can we stay in contact with you?
Absolutely. So I am on TikTok, Instagram. You can follow me at Dare to Dream. Dare, number 2, dream is spelled with a J. I'm also on LinkedIn, Facebook, as well as I have a website. So it's www.daretodream.com, or you can shoot me an email.
Okay. Awesome. Now, any closing remarks that you want to share with our audience today?
I just want to thank you for taking the time out to speak with me today. And for the audience, I dare you to dream.